Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time. Newborn stage was quite overwhelming and obviously haven't updated you guys. Baby obviously is here, but in today's video we're going to focus on my third trimester. I've done trimester 1 and 2 if you haven't seen them videos. Let's talk trimester 3. If you're new here, I'm Amber. I'm a first time mum. I was being honest with everything pregnancy, and now I'll be honest with everything motherhood. But like I said, today we're going to talk about the third trimester, which starts at 28 weeks. I've wrote my little notes down here, what I experienced, and I'm just going to go through them with you. So starting at 28 weeks, I was bumping. My bump really had started to show. Obviously I'm quite a big girl naturally, so my bump did take a little while longer. I think I started showing really around like 19-20 weeks, and then by the third trimester I just started growing and growing and growing and growing. Also at 28 weeks, leukocytes in my urine seem to be the usual. Leukocytes are like white blood cells, and they can show like infection, but apparently they can also come from discharge, so that's probably where mine were coming from. At 29 weeks, I went to the hospital for reduced movements. You were told to monitor your baby's movements, and if there's a change in their movements, then you should go to the hospital and get checked out. 29 weeks, I hadn't felt little baby move all day, and obviously it's kind of worrying. So I went in, and of course as soon as we got on the monitor he was wiggling away. It was quite scary at first. I didn't know what they were going to do. I didn't know if they were going to scan me or whatever, but they listened to his heartbeat and then they put me on a monitor, and basically they give you a button and you click every time you feel a movement. So that's what I did. The machine has like a certain criteria you have to pass, and we passed it with flying colours, thank God. Week 32, I'd officially entered the waddling phase. I waddled everywhere, my balance was completely off. I was like going whoa as I went up and down stairs and stuff. It was really bad. At 32 weeks, I also had a growth scan. Big baby here was measuring at 4.9 pounds, so he was heavy already. I was never leaking during my pregnancy, but by week 34 I was starting to have a little bit of dried milk on my nipples. Week 34 I did also go to the hospital for reduced movements again. Now when I went for this, they told me that the second lot of reduced movements, they would normally offer you an induction, but obviously I was only 34 weeks, there was no way I was going to be induced then. And they said that when it gets closer to the time they'd offer me an induction then. Again, obviously everything was fine, which I'm super thankful about. Week 34 we also had another growth scan. Baby was weighing 6 pounds at week 34, so had gained over 1 pound in the 2 weeks, which is really good. They say you should gain 0.5 of a pound each week after 32 weeks. Week 36. I had a few Braxton Hicks. I'm assuming that's what they were, because I don't know. What are you doing? So at my week 36 midwife appointment, I was sent to the hospital from the appointment because little baby here had a fast heart rate. We were chilling up around the 170s, and that's not good. It should be somewhere like around 150, I believe. Got there and basically was watched on the monitor again. I sat on the monitor for an hour and we didn't pass like the criteria, so we had to wait to speak to a doctor, and then they decided now it's been some time waiting, they'll try me on the monitor again, and I was on the monitor for another 20 minutes and then finally he passed. Week 36 also found me in a complete nesting mood, but with no energy to nest. Pregnancy is exhausting, guys. Week 37, I started to collect colostrum. I actually really enjoyed this, and it's so nice to have colostrum still in the freezer now that I give him when I think he's not doing so well, like he's feeling ill. So like he had his injections the other week and I gave him some colostrum after, help him feel a bit better, because colostrum is like what they call liquid gold, has all the nutrients baby needs. At 37 weeks we also had another growth scan. We were then at 7.9 pounds. Week 38, little baby here was still head down, but his feet or his bum, I don't know which, was sat right in my ribs, and it didn't really like wind me, and it wasn't kicking them either. It was just I could feel him wedged under there, like literally under my ribs. At this point I was having weekly blood pressure checks because I'd had protein in my urine in like trimester 1. They basically had to watch that I didn't get high blood pressure, which I didn't, except for this one occasion. I went in for my weekly check. It should have just been a quick in and out, but my blood pressure was high, so I got admitted to the ward. And basically like I hadn't eaten or anything that morning, eaten or drank anything, and then as soon as I ate something my blood pressure came down. Teaches you not to eat, guys. Make sure you eat. Yes, that lowered, didn't require any medication, I was sent home fine. At week 38 I was also having really bad stomach cramps and softer poos. Apparently softer stools can signal that labour is nearing. At 38 weeks I was also offered my induction that I spoke about before, and I also was offered a sweep, but at that appointment at that time I had not like mentally prepared myself to have a sweep, and I didn't want to be induced. I wanted to go into labour naturally. So instead the doctor offered to book me a sweep in a week, and I also had a scan that day as well in week 39. I had had the sweep, so it was 39 plus 4, I had a sweep. That's when I had some bleeding after, and I had cramps, and I was told I was 1 centimetre dilated at this sweep. Obviously we also had a scan at this sweep, and he measured at 8.9 pounds. 39 plus 5, I'd had large mucus plug parts passed. My ankles had been swelling, and I was having more Braxton Hicks contractions. Now the sweep didn't put me into labour, but week 40, literally the day after I finished work for maternity leave, I woke up at 7:20 in the morning and my waters had broke. At first I didn't realise it was my waters. I was just like, why is my thighs wet? I was just like, why is my thighs wet? But then like after walking around for a few minutes, it was gushing out of me. We went into the hospital just to double check that my waters had broke, which they had. I was offered another sweep to try and get labour started because I hadn't had any contractions yet. Yeah, so I had that sweep. I was told I was 2 centimetres dilated now, so I had dilated by 1 centimetre in that week. But because my contractions hadn't started naturally, I was offered induction. I got the choice of waiting 24 hours or waiting 12 hours. So I woke up at 7, so my induction would either start 7 the next day or 7 p.m. that night. I decided to go with 7 p.m. that night because my logic in thinking was I would not be able to sleep if I was waiting till 7 a.m. to go in and have an induction. So I had a nap during the day. We had a Nando's and a nap, and then went into the hospital for an induction. Because my waters had broke and I hadn't had contractions, I was put on the oxytocin drip. By 10 p.m. I was on that. During birth I had paracetamol, gas and air, I had an epidural which I said I didn't want to have, but then I ended up having a C-section. I'm going to be making a full birth story video, which is a lot more detailed than that, because honestly I think it was actually quite a traumatic birth. I had a really bad reaction to the epidural, but I don't want to ruin it all by telling you now. I will make a full in-depth video about that. So if you do want to see that, please make sure to subscribe. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me and my little fella. We're so happy. Obviously he's really big now. But I'm going to make a 4th trimester video as well, so if you want to see that, then let me know. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments as well. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.